Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonja Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
Hi, everyone, and happy 2024. It's me, once again, your girl, Sonja Pearson. But tonight, this is my introduction to a brand new platform, Northeast Streaming Sports, where we have nightly football, sports, basketball, everything you can think of right here. And tonight, I have the very special privilege of introducing as my co-host tonight, the founder of Northeast Streaming Sports, none other than the Mac man himself. Good evening, Mac. Happy New Year.
Well, good morning to you, and good morning, good evening. It's morning here somewhere. I don't know, but good evening to you. Happy New Year to you and everyone that'll be tuning in here tonight. Can't wait to get this going, Sonja.
Yes.
Good evening. Welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. I'm your host, B. Strilla, filling in for Sonja Pearson, who is on vacay right now. Much deserved. I have with me as our normal crew, J Train and Nate the Great from my show, One Ass Cheek, Three Toes. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Doing all right, my man. Hope you will.
Yep.
I hope all y'all doing all right. Okay, too. And Sonja has made it to her destination. She's good to go. She had to show us the Carolina Panther Stadium. Whatever. But that's okay. Whatever gets her juices flowing. But anyway, tonight we're going to be talking a lot about NBA playoffs. We have a game going on right now between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knickerbockers in Madison Square Gardens. The score is 44-43 Knicks over the Pacers right now. But we're going to get to the OKC Minnesota series first, since that one's already ahead. OKC's ahead 2-0. They won 18 and 103 last night. Shea Butter, let me tell you, the last two games, he had 38 points last game, and the game before that, he had 31. Or how many did he have? 30 something like that? Yeah, 31 something. Yeah, 31 points. And the telltale sign, though, is the OKC shooting. Both games, they've shot 50%, whereas Minnesota shot 41% last night, and they shot 35% of game one. So I guess they're getting better, maybe. But the turnovers are costing them. In the first game, Minnesota had 17 turnovers for OKC's 31 points for OKC. Can't be having that kind of stuff, man. That's got to stop. And the points in the paint. OKC is getting it. 3-pointers? Nope. 3-point shooting's been not great. But 58 points in the paint last night. They had 54 in the night before. OKC's getting it done old style. And they're playing pretty good defense against Minnesota. So how do you guys feel about this series right now?
I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, probably, man. I mean, maybe Minnesota gets one game, but it all starts with the leader. It all starts when you just mentioned most of their points are coming within the perimeter, mid-range.
Watch some basketball, Bob.
It's smooth. Hey, look at his hair, brother. When he says shea butter, smooth. That's what shea butter is. That's what shea butter gets you. So
That's
if you
right.
want to know about shea butter, that's a product that goes back a long way back to the motherland. It's just used for like smooth. It's smooth as I'm losing my train of thought here. It gets the
Talk
skin
about your hair more
smooth,
than talk about a
silky
point.
smooth, brother. So yeah, exactly right. So look, Shea Gilgeous Alexander. It all starts with him. He got his MVP award. I think that's boosted his confidence even more so, and I think it puts more pressure on him. I mean, just like with any other MVP and that's come through this league, the pressure comes on you to win. You win you can win the hardware, but can you win the hardware that really matters as a team? And it seems like he's got these guys bought in. Their coach has them bought in, all of them, and they know they have an opportunity to win. Some of the big guns are gone. Like they took down Jokic, and Boston they're gone, and New York took them out as well. And so they have an excellent opportunity right now, potentially, to win the NBA Finals. I have them going to the NBA Finals, and they probably I still have the Knicks edging out the Pacers, even though they still may. It can go either way, but because I think that series is going to go 7 if when we talk about that. But I absolutely love what OKC is doing right now, and I think they're gonna sweep because I don't see anything in Minnesota that just says we're gonna make a comeback.
I mean, everything that's happened in this series so far hasn't surprised me. I mean, I've watched these two teams play all season. I mean, Anthony Edwards just is going through a lot of defenders in this game. Like, he's definitely having to work a lot harder, and he's not getting a lot of help. I mean, Julius Randle balled out the first game, was terrible the second game, but they still don't have a consistent third scorer. I actually think by them going back home, if you follow the narratives with these series, the role players step up and at home, they make their shots. And the one thing about the Thunder, as good as they are, their probably biggest weakness is shooting the ball at times. They really can go through lulls where they don't shoot the ball well. Even Shea has games where he won't show up on the basket, shooting the ball, but he'll get to the free throw line. That's the main thing, is that he'll get to the free throw line, and that helps out if he's struggling shooting the ball. So I actually think that, I think Minnesota goes home, regroups, and I definitely think that, they could definitely win the next game. And then we'll see. The thing about Oklahoma City is they're a young team. They're the youngest team in the playoffs. And they don't have the game 7 was a huge barometer for them, because for a young team, they closed that game and won the series. Now, can they close on the road? That's the question now, because Minnesota will give them a fight at home. I promise you. Ant Edwards very well could go off for 50 the next game. Like, he's due for one. And this guy, a lot of people compare him to kind of like Jordan, where he's an assassin and he takes things personal. And I guarantee you, he listens to talk radio. He listens to social media. Everybody is all over Oklahoma City. And Ant's like, dude, I got to change that narrative. And I think he will this next game. It's just, for me, the question for Oklahoma City is, are you going to show up, and are you going to be the team that everybody expects you to be? Because if you look at the other games when they played in Denver, they were not that team. They looked out of their league at times. That's why it went 7. So now let's see if they've grown up, if they've gotten better, and let's see what they do now in another hostile environment in Minnesota tomorrow.
I mean, I will say, you mentioned Shea Gilgeous Alexander. He's not shooting well, but I think that's just right now. I mean, he shot well in the previous series, I think.
Yeah.
But like he did find a way to get the points on the board. If he realized he wasn't scoring, they were shutting the scoring down. He had to find a way to get the points. I mean, the previous series, I think he had 11 to 14 free throws, and he got there last night. And then, of course, this is the guy that averaged 32. He led the league in points. So he's doing something right.
Right. Exactly.
With 32 points a game. So I think he He's deserving of the award. It could have went to either one of those players. It could have went to Jokic as well. I mean, who averaged a triple-double. But this guy, he's putting this team on his back, and they're helping. They're not just riding his back. They're actually helping. It's a great camaraderie, great team effort. And again, I just think I don't know. I don't like Ant Edwards' attitude per se. And when I say that, I mean when this is a guy that says he don't want to be the face of the league. I've never heard somebody with his talent ever say that. I mean, I get he's in a social media era where they tear down stars, and but I just never heard that.
Let me push back on that, because I think that, like, his demeanor reminds me a lot of Jordan and Kobe. Like, very, very strong personalities, very cocky, very arrogant. Jordan would never say he wanted to be face of the league. They would make him face of the league because of his game.
What do you mean Jordan wouldn't? Jordan, he wouldn't say you want to be the face? You can't not say you want to face and be the face. He may not have said it, but his action said everything.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Verbalizing and doing things are two different things. And Jordan, wanted you to know that he was a face. You don't tell Isaiah Thomas that he can't come play if in the Olympics if you don't think you're the face. You definitely think you're the face.
But he did it by talking. I mean, I'm sorry, he did it by his play. Like, that's what Ant Edwards is doing himself, because
but not really. I don't think so. I mean, a lot of times they like to compare him to Jordan. I do see some things there. I see some flashes, but when Jordan was in his 20s, man, he was balling out of control, and he had no help. Ant got help, and so I really don't think he should be. I don't think he's motivated enough. I don't think he's motivated to be at the level to be considered in the same breath, to me, honestly, as Jordan. Not at all. At this age.
Well,
nobody should be comparing Jordan to anybody anyway, or anybody to Jordan. That's just ridiculous.
It's the demeanor.
Make your own name.
But it's the demeanor, and it's the way he carries himself, and the fact that he's gone out and taken some of the big dogs out of the playoffs in the last 2 years, like your big name stars that people look up to, Luka, LeBron, KD, Jokic. Those are big names that he just literally took out with a, in my opinion, a weaker team. Like his team.
I don't know. He's got some really good talent on that team.
Name me outside of Randall who their third best player is.
Honestly, I think the talent on Minnesota's team is maybe a little bit more edge out OKC.
Name me the third best player on their team outside of Randall. Who's their third best player?
But my thing is, I think the level of talent that Anthony Edwards has, I don't think he plays to his potential. I think sometimes he takes a little time off. I don't think he doesn't. That's why when they put him in the same breath as Jordan never took time off. Jordan found ways to get motivated, and I don't get that from him finding ways to get motivated all the time. I see it sometimes.
I will say this with Ant Edwards that I am disappointed in is the fact is that, and it's more so because of the 3-point shot. Like, he was a terrible 3-point shooter last year. You can look up the facts. He worked in the offseason to perfect his 3-point shot. He was one of the best 3-point shooters this year. However, he is an athletic freak. He is a guy who can, you guys talk about how smooth Shea is. Anthony Edwards is smoother than Shea. Like, if he gets into the lane, it's so quick and so subtle because he's so athletic. But the thing is that he relies too much on his jump shot. And I hate that because, like, this is why the NBA is going the wrong way, because a lot of these big men rather shoot a three than get their ass down in the post. Get their butts down in the post and body up, and get down and dirty. They rather just shoot these threes. And so Edwards is the same victim of that situation because he shoots so many threes and he knows he can make them. He doesn't take it to the basket. And by him not taking it to the basket, he doesn't get fouls. Like, one thing about Shea that a lot of people have to give him credit to is he knows how to work the refs. He knows how to get the calls and when to create contact to get to the line. Ann Edwards could do the same thing. However, Ann Edwards rather stay on the perimeter. You know, you talk about points in the paint. Like, all their shots are perimeter. Everybody shoots on the perimeter. Even Julius Randle, the big guy, he shoots on the perimeter. You know, so they really have to start being more physical and take it to Oklahoma City, because that's what Boston did. Boston was physical and they took it inside to Oklahoma City. They're making Oklahoma City's job easy. Okay, we can guard the perimeter. Hell, they're good at the perimeter. They got great defenders on all ends. So I expect them to adjust and be more aggressive and get into them physically in order to change the series. And if they don't, then it probably will be a gentleman's sweep or a sweep.
I mean, all that's good game strategy. However, if you don't know your opponent going into a playoff game and you know what you have to attack, that's half the battle right there. Regardless of what players that you have. You're talking about Ant, but dude, he's got you can name Randall is the second guy. Yeah, you might not be able to name a third, but really, who do you know in Oklahoma City besides Shea?
Joe, Chet, Williams.
No. Those guys don't score like that.
They're good, but nobody knows.
Third team All NBA J-Dub, Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso. You know,
and what's
Alex
their game? What's their points for? Are they all number twos? Would you call them a number two?
No, nope. J-Dub is.
No, you would not call any of those guys number twos. A legitimate number two.
So you make
the argument that you bring upon stuff is
two.
You got to have a number two. Well, they don't have a number two. They have like 20 number twos, okay? Because everybody comes off the bench. Everybody contributes on that team. That's what makes OKC a really good team, not just because of their defense, because they play as a team. And Minnesota is not going to be – Minnesota's not going to – they might win a game, but, I mean, if they didn't come in there knowing – I mean, Oklahoma City has been dominating them in the paint. You should know that. That's coaching, too.
It's only this.
If your coaching is not putting you in that position in the first place, you know you have to dominate them. If you were looking at that Denver series, if you're watching film of the Denver series and you see Denver pound them inside and getting those, getting those points in the paint, they should be doing the same thing. If you ain't coming into that series with that mindset, you're lost the series.
But I disagree with you on that, because Denver has Jokic who plays inside, and Minnesota doesn't have an interior presence. Like, Gobert might as well just sit on the bench.
Regardless, you have to adjust.
They had to take Gobert out of the game.
Exactly. They have no
keep up with
interior presence. That's why I'm telling you, the adjustment is simple. Take it to the basket. Be more physical inside. Try to use some of that size against some of those smaller, lengthier guys. Like Chet Holmgren, he's 7'1", but he's a beanpole.
Again, I see your point. However, if that wasn't being done in the beginning of the series, then
it's only the second game of the series, man. I mean,
it's a third now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're still filling each other out. Like, the series doesn't start till somebody wins in the other home court. Like there's still a lot of time to figure things out. Like, watch, just you watch.
Well, okay. Well, you just said they don't have a big guy to go in the paint, but yet you expect them to adjust to go inside to get in the paint.
Because what did I say? Anthony Edwards will get to the basket. He needs to get to the basket. Julius Randle.
But do you think, Nate? Do you think Minnesota can win one of these games? I mean, both these games at home, or do you think?
I don't know about both, but I think they could definitely win the next game. Yes, I do. Because
I'm gonna tell you this: if they don't win both these games at home, it's over.
Yeah, well, of course,
it's over anyway.
but I mean, like I saw Oklahoma City play in Denver, and they struggled. Like, that's the reason why it went 7, because they could not close out in Denver. And I think Minnesota is more athletic than Denver was. Denver looked gassed. Like, Jokic was just beat up to the pulp because they were physical with Jokic inside, with Holmgren and Hartenstein.
And to your point, if Minnesota looks more athletic, that must say a lot about OKC's defense.
Oh, it's
They shutting it
100%
down.
OKC. Yeah. Like, dude, Alex Caruso, like, people don't give Alex Caruso enough credit. This guy literally was, a star at Texas A&M, didn't get drafted, went to the G League, worked on his game, and even said himself, like, I can't be a star player. I just need to be on a team, and I can make an impact. The dude is guarding bigs and being successful, and the guy's like 6'7", maybe $170 or something like that. That dude plays with more heart than anybody I've seen in this playoff so far. Like he's one of the big reasons why Oklahoma City has so much success. Like, because the reality is, if you look at last year's playoffs, when they lost to Luka Doncic and the Mavericks, they lacked that physical body who could body up on guards, because Giddey wasn't that dude. That's why they traded Giddey to the Bulls. And when they went out and got AC Caruso, that was the nice piece, because now he can guard multiple positions and he can kind of hide Shea's defense a little bit. I'm not saying Shea's not a bad defender. He's okay defender, but he's not a great defender. But AC is on point, man. He's a darn good defender. Like he can guard anybody. And you're seeing that. And that's why I think that he's like the snake of the defense. Like, you starts with him and then everybody follows through.
Well, I do say that Minnesota did improve in the second game over the first game, where they only had 20 points in the paint in the first game. They did have 44 in the second game. They also shot better, 41% to their 35%. But when you're consistently shooting 50% like OKC is doing right here, it's kind of hard to win those games against that kind of shooting percentage.
And they got to tighten up their defense too. There's no doubt about that. That's a start. Yeah. That's a start too. They got to tighten up that D and make it difficult for Oklahoma City.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because it kind of looks like that Oklahoma's taking. If they win the next game, if Oklahoma City wins the next game, the series is over. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, well, statistics says that wise too. Like, if you go up 3-0, you're almost like a 90% sure that you're going to win that series. So, yeah, I agree with that.
So, on to the next NBA playoff game in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The New York Knickerbockers and the Indiana Pacers. Right now, they're at the half, 52-49. New York is ahead. Game one. Indianapolis won in overtime, 138-135. Both teams shot over 50%. Free throws, though, were the telling stat. When Indianapolis made 21 of 28, New York only had 28 of 40. And probably if they would have hit maybe a couple of more of them, they might have pulled that game out. Indiana is 6-0 in clutch games.
Hey, fun fact about that choke thing, when he did that and Reggie Miller did that, they lost the series. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, well, they didn't lose last year, but
they
anyway.
Still remembered it. Nobody remember who won the series. Everybody remembers Reggie Miller for doing that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
They still lost the series.
Like you said, it's a fun fact. I get what you're saying there. Yeah. And I still have the Knicks winning, but that, I mean, it's still a moment.
I hate Reggie Miller, dude. He's so overrated, man. Like,
I don't know.
Anyways,
Indianapolis also had 27 points off of 15 New York turnovers. That's got to stop, especially Brunson. Brunson did really bad in the last few minutes of that game, even in overtime. He was terrible. I mean, in overtime, Jalen Brunson got a shot blocked, had 2 turnovers, 6 points, 4 by 3 throws, and a missed a three-pointer.
Yeah,
Dude didn't do jack in overtime. Yeah. And he scored 43 points.
He's usually very clutch, but they had his number at that moment. But I mean, let's see what happens tonight. I don't think that's going to happen, every night.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, he played probably like statistically probably one of his worst games, and the guy's still at 43. Like, that just speaks on how good the guy is. Like, he doesn't turn over the ball 7 times. a lot of
You,
times.
if you
Very
score
rare.
43 points, dude, there's nothing statistically wrong about that. You scored 43 points. Whether you get to the line or not, or you're shooting or not, it doesn't make a difference. 43 points is a lot of points to be scoring in a playoff
Sure.
game.
Oh.
And Cat had 35 points.
Mhm.
So what I'm looking at here is, I told you guys that New York has to come and play their best game. And the fact that Cat had 35 and Brunson had 43, they should have won that game.
Well, the reason why they lost the game, listen, it's very simple. Okay. You can take free throws, you can take all that other crap out of the books. The Pacers are one of the fastest paced teams in the NBA all season. They've been one of the fastest paced teams for the last 3 years. The Knicks are one of the slowest paced teams the last 3 years. So here's the thing. When you're up 9 points or 17 points, there is no reason in the world why you need to rush your offense. There's no reason. Like, you take your time, you run that clock down, and if you have to take a 24-second shot clock, so be it. Because if you do the math, you're up 9 points at 52 seconds. The shot clock is 24 seconds. You run that shot clock down, that leaves 24 seconds for them to score 9 points. It's almost impossible. Okay? So the thing with the Knicks is that the Knicks panicked. They rushed their offense, which, again, makes no freaking sense in the world because you're up in the game. You're not down. You're up. And I've coached basketball, and I can tell you that when I've been up in the game, I've told my guys, just pass the ball around. Don't make dumb passes. Don't make stupid stuff. Just pass the ball around and run the clock down. And we'll win the game. Like, why a professional team cannot do that is beyond me. And then if you want to throw everything else about the free throws and all, that's fine. But if you just slow the pace down and play your game, they win the game going away. They were up by 17 points.
Well, I have a question for Bistro. You mentioned all the points that they had. How many minutes did they play individually, those two players?
Let's
a lot.
I think Jalen didn't play that much because he was in foul trouble a lot of the.
Yeah, he got foul trouble in the third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hallie played a good amount.
But he fouled out in the overtime, right?
No, he didn't.
So let's see.
Well, he had 5.
He had 5, yeah.
How many minutes they played? What the hell, man? Don't tell me the minutes. Give me the game log. There we go. Yeah, don't tell me the game minutes on it. Unfortunately.
I mean, what are you asking?
I mean, I guarantee it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
My point in bringing that up is this: they don't have a lot of depth on their bench, and Tibbs, his MO is to play his starters a long time.
Sure.
And I think it wears that team out. And when you come into a matchup with maybe an even, if not better, team in the Pacers right now, and Carlisle is one of the better coaches to me, that's underrated. Carlisle is a really good coach.
Championship coach, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it might come back to bite them. It might come back to bite them not having enough depth and not having what's going on, Sonja? Not having enough enough depth on the bench to be able to give some time for their main guys to come back in.
I mean, as the series does go longer, it does favor a younger team that's got more bodies. I do agree with you on that. However, I'll push back on this aspect that they went against a Pistons team who had more depth. They went against a Boston team who had a lot more depth. And they still were able to hang and beat both those teams, So I think for the Knicks, and I've said this multiple times about the Pacers and the Knicks series, the Pacers have a more complete team because they have from top to bottom, they have guys that you can throw out there and can give you some points, like a McConnell, like an Obi Toppin, like a Nesmith, a Ben Shepherd, stuff like that. The Knicks have the better players. Like if you go top 5, JB, Halliburton, Cat, OG, and Michael Bridges. Maybe Siakam. Maybe you can argue Siakam at 4 or 5. But the Knicks have the better players if you just take the top 5 players from both rosters. Now, whether that – go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I want to push back just a little. Like you mentioned, I agree with you that they matched up against Boston. Maybe that peaked them. You don't think maybe they might have peaked at that point?
It's a physical series, man. Like Boston is a really good team. Like they like people don't realize how good a team they were that the Knicks had to take down. You know, like yes, Tatum did get hurt, but Tatum, that game was already determined. And I figured that Boston was going to win that next game. But like the series had already kind of been determined once the Knicks took the first 2 games in Boston. You know, it was just their job.
But we can't say that Indiana's a slouch either because they took the number 1 team in the East out.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, the Pacers are a good team. Like I said, I just when it comes down to it, it's going to come down to 1 or 2 things. Is the more complete team going to win the series that has more depth and more somewhat youth? Or is it going to be the team that has the better players? You know, when you've got top 4 players, you know.
Well, like Sonja says, we'll put a pin in this situation here so we can do this commercial for the Huddle Sports Network. Okay. So we'll be right back in about a minute.
Yeah, yo, it's game time. Ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken, stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.
And we are back.
They're getting more crunk with their station.
Yeah, that's a lot better promo than I've seen from them in the past. So that's good. They're stepping the game up. There you go. Clap the hands. All right. So take the pin out. Right now we're going into the third. 8:52 left in the third. Pacers are up by 3, 60-57. Again, I mean, I saw this when Indiana was going into the playoffs. Like I said, Cleveland, I knew was going to get knocked out. They were nostalgic going into the playoffs, losing a lot of games. They played Miami, whatever. But then when they played the Pacers, nope, not today, buddy. So, I mean, and to tell you the truth, the Knicks played an inexperienced Pistons team. You know, we all know that. They're younger. There's only a couple of veterans on that team, but they were like bench player veterans. And then with the Celtics, I mean, the Celtics really did, to tell you the truth, man, the Celtics didn't really look like they wanted to come in there and play. It looks like the Knicks were beating them to everything. So I don't know about the Celtics series either, to tell you the truth. I think the Knicks have been kind of, what's the term I can use? I wouldn't say skimming, but more like floating in these series. They've been playing good basketball. I'm not taking that away from them. But the level of the competition that they played, just because it's Boston Celtics, doesn't mean that they were playing that great either. They missed a whole bunch of threes and two, and that's what they live on anyway. Yeah. So, you live and die by the three with the Boston Celtics.
If you want to go there, with the Pacers, with the Knicks, I'll go there with the Pacers. The Pacers beat up Milwaukee Bucks team who only had Giannis, had Dame Lillard blow his Achilles out. And then they played a Cleveland Cavaliers team who was literally banged up the whole series. So really, where was their test? I would take Boston could beat both Milwaukee and Cleveland in those series. So, I mean, I think the Knicks have overachieved in the aspect that nobody saw them getting this far, and the way Boston kind of like they weren't hungry enough, and that's fine. When you win a championship, you lose a lot of that dog in you. You don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. And the Knicks are very hungry. And, you've got two teams with the Pacers and Knicks that are very carbon copies similar to each other. Like very good point guards, good solid forwards. They play defense at times, but they're very similar teams. And this goes back to the history of the Knicks and Pacers. Like they've always been this kind of contentious teams against each other, but I wouldn't say the Knicks were skimming. I think that they definitely overachieved what people thought they were going to do, because nobody even gave them a chance in heck of even winning a game against the Celtics.
I'll put it to this way. It was unexpected. I'll put it to that one.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
that they got to that point. I don't say okay. Well, we'll take out the skimming. Like I said, they played basketball. They were the better team in both the series. But like I said, I think, and you can't. I mean, the Pacers beat the number one seeded team, and the Knicks beat the number 2 seeded team. So, I mean, you could take and then Tatum went out. And they just took apart the Celtics right there. I mean, they did a hoorah at home, just for their people. But then they went to New York and it's like, you know what? Yeah. Let's let them win this series. We're not going to play, what the heck? So I don't know, man.
I mean, the Knicks put the beat
down. They didn't put no more than effort in that game. They just quit
like
in the second quarter. So
Boston folded in that last game.
Yeah, they folded like a lawn chair. Like 5 different types of ways.
Sure.
But not to take away anything from the Knicks. I think the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah.
I picked the Knicks in 7 in the series. But
yeah,
they really got to make a couple of adjustments there. I mean, they had that first game, and that can be deflating to do everything that you can mentally. That could take you out if you don't bounce back in this game. If they don't win this game, I'm concerned. If they don't win this game tonight, I'm a bit concerned for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Other playoff news as far as the sports are concerned, the NHL playoffs have gotten kicked off. Yesterday, and unfortunately, Sonja, and she's probably not watching, but oh well, she probably didn't want to hear this anyway. The Florida Panthers just beat the crap out of the Carolina Hurricanes yesterday, 5-0. And I told her, if Florida's not playing, they're the Stanley Cup champions. They're going to continue to try to do that for everything it's worth right now. And I really thought Carolina, probably out of all the teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs, that they had the better chance of knocking them off. But it don't look like that from the last 2 games. A shutout, and they got beat. I think it was 6-3 the first game, 5-2 the first game. So they're putting up 5 spots on them all the time. It's ugly. It is going to, and this isn't going to. This is in Carolina. This isn't in Florida. Carolina had a better record, so that's a telltale sign right there. I mean, in hockey, it's not the home ice advantage is not the same as it is in NBA or in NFL. The hockey is like all over the place. It's whoever the hotter team is really at the time. And I think Florida's the hotter team right now. The Edmonton Oilers kind of surprised me. They got beat by the Dallas Stars in their first game, 6-3. They got like 3 power play goals in a span of like 2 minutes and 57 seconds. I don't know what Edmonton was doing, but they were a lot of penalties. They're winning right now, 1-0 in the second period. Edmonton, that is. So we'll see if Edmonton can get back on track. They've had a couple of flex games like this against the Kings. As a matter of fact, they got beat 6-2 one game, and I think like 6-1 in another game. The first 2 games of their series, and they want to start the Stanley Cup playoffs. So we'll see if Edmonton kind of gets woke up, because Dallas is not a bad team at all. They're a pretty good team. Other than that, though, that is the strength of the NHL playoffs at the moment. Looks like the Tigers are having problems with the Guardians. They lost again to them. I got to say Guardians. I hate saying Guardians. That's just the weirdest name. So they lost 3-1 today after losing last night 7-0. So something's coming back on the Tigers. I don't know what it is, but they need to play.
Are they still winning the division?
Yeah, they're still leading the division, but they're playing a division foe, and you can't be losing that to division foes.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as the standings in Major League, because the Yankees are 30-19 right now and leading in their division. Tigers are 33-18, well, 33-19 now. Seattle Mariners are 28-21. Go ahead, Bo. Take a bow, Bo.
Right.
32-18. Cubs are 30-20, and the Dodgers are 31-19. So the Tigers are still the best team in the majors, record-wise.
I wonder if Bo thinks that record is a fallacy right now.
I'm sure he'll say it was too. He'll say it is. The
Which
Mariners record. The Mariners record right now.
Oh, Mariners, they're a pretty good team.
They actually right now, yeah, it seems like it.
They were good last year. I think they won their division last year. They got that one player, Rodriguez, that I really like. Julio Rodriguez, I think his name is. Yeah.
So just to let you know, Nate, that Boston scored 2 touchdowns, a safety, and a field goal.
That's right. Most points in the season a team scored all year. Boston Red Sox. Let's go.
What you mean as a whole?
Mm-hmm.
Because 19. That was 19 points ain't the most that was scored this year. Somebody put up 21 points. So that wouldn't be the word. But that wouldn't be the most scored.
That's what the announcer said, so I don't know.
Announcer don't know what he's talking about. Anyway. And it is what was it? I think it was it was San Diego that got to 21. They beat up on the Colorado Rockies 21-0.
Maybe they were talking about
3 touchdowns.
Maybe they were talking.
Maybe it was an American League thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
could have been.
Maybe.
But anyway, as far as football news is concerned, Aiden Hutchinson has been cleared to play. Good for him. They're talking about negotiating his contract. We'll see. Other news, the tush push was accepted. It's pretty funny. I was just telling J-Train before we got in the show that out of the 14 teams that Philadelphia faces that voted, 13 of them were against the tush push. The only other team that wasn't against it was the Lions, that they play in this season. So I can understand why they were doing that. You want to play it in because they're going to do the tush push and we can't stop it. Well, buck up. Buck up. Stop it. That's what Dan Campbell said. Stop it.
There's not a way to stop it consistently. It's just not.
Well, you know how you don't stop? Don't let them have those 3rd and shorts or 4th and shorts. Don't let them have that. And the Lions have been pretty good about that 3rd down completion. Usually most there are third. I think they said 3rd and 4 was like what most teams were stopping at when the Lions were playing.
The only way you're going to be able to do that is you have to get negative yards. So you have to be able to sack the quarterback in order to get that longer down the distance. Like the thing with the Eagles,
necessarily if they incomplete passes are points and stopping the run. Those are things that the Lions are good at. They can, like I said, they had the best 3rd down defense completion average in the NFL last year. So, I mean,
I just honestly, when I look at the play, there's just no way to stop it consistently. Like you might stop it 1 every 5 times, but when that rate is over 80%, there's no reason why that should be in the NFL. No reason why, because that's almost a guarantee of first down.
It should never be banned because it's an advantage to a team. If every team had an advantage, if you were a part of that team, there's no way you would want it gone. I just think that they have an awesome offensive line. That's the key right there to the tush push. You have a quarterback that does RPO. He can score with his legs. Another part of the tush push, and then of course you just have you have studs all over your offense. So I mean, but if people know what's going to happen, but you can't stop it. That offensive line is the biggest part
Well,
of
I
it.
think the quarterback is probably the most important thing because we have a great offensive line, but the Eagles have a short quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and they have a guy who can squat 600 pounds. Like, so he can hide in that scrum and get behind those big uglies. Like
You don't have to hide. I mean, you know who else does it to tush push? It's Josh Allen.
Yeah,
He
55 times last year. He was second to the Philadelphia Eagles. And amazingly enough, they were the one against the two.
But he does it. My point is he does it, and he does it. He's 6'5". He's 6'5". So, I mean, you don't have to be short. I think it's just a matter of how athletic you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you with Jalen Allen. Jalen Hurts. He squats like 600 pounds. But here's
my issue with the play. I'm okay if you're just letting the quarterback run behind the line. That's fine. But when you let the running backs, the receivers, darn near Santa Claus push him forward, I don't like that because that's too much force going against the defense, and your defense can't get an advantage. Like, you have 4 to 5 guys on the line, and you're talking about all 5 linemen are on there, on top of the quarterback, on top of the running back, on top of the receivers. Like that's just pure physics. Like you're not going to be able to stop that. It's just impossible. Like, the only way you could possibly do it, and I was thinking about it, is you have to blitz your safeties literally up the middle and your linebackers right at the line. And as soon as that play goes in, Jalen hit, you got to crack him. You've got to crack him. And I think that's what we're going to see now going forward is if Jalen's going to expose himself to this play, you're going to see more hits on him in the head, and you're going to see more hits at his legs because they're going to treat him just like a running back.
Well, they're going to get called for fouls.
They've been doing that for the last 2-3 years, the tush push, and they haven't figured out that yet as a defensive coordinator. Come on. They just can't do it. If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you don't have a defensive line or you don't have a defense, probably the teams that have the better defense will probably be able to do it. But even Baltimore, who is known for their vaunted defense, couldn't stop it. But Green Bay did, the ones that originally started this whole mess.
I mean, you can stop it maybe 1 out of 5 times. That means 4 out of 5, they're still going to get that first down or touchdown. That's why I don't like the play, because it's a huge advantage on one team. Not every team has a Jalen Hurts that can squat 600 pounds and has a line like the Eagles do. Like I said, the Lions have a line like that, but we don't have the quarterback like Jalen Hurts.
Okay, Bill Nye, the science guy.
But I mean, but it's an advantage that
not you. I'm talking about Robbie.
Yeah, but it's an advantage he's shorter because, take Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a bigger body, so he doesn't really need to get in there. He just needs to go over the line or extend using his long frame to extend to the first down. To where Jalen Hurts, he's so short, he's probably a gentleman, 6 foot or whatever. He's not that tall, but he's a thick guy. It's like a scrum. He just pushes with his legs.
For him, it's like if he can squat 600 pounds. I mean, that automatically, it doesn't make a difference how tall you are at that point. Josh Allen is a big dude anyway, and I've seen him push the center to get the first down. So I mean, it's all in the way that you do it. Obviously, they can't. Tampa Bay has found a way to stop him because they can never do anything against Tampa Bay. So Tampa Bay has a reason.
They get the down and distance. If you watch the Tampa Bay games, they would sack Hurts a lot, and he would get in those down and distance. Listen, you want to beat the Eagles? I've made it very clear how to do it. You get down and distance with Jalen Hurts, because when you put him in down and distance, he's a pedestrian quarterback in the pocket. When you give him the short distances, he's almost automatic every time, because all he's got to do is do a little short pass, a little dink and dunk, or he can run, or he could do the tush push. You got to get him in the down and distance.
But what I'm saying is they've done a tush push against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's probably been the most successful team against them. And I would have to attribute that to that Vita Vea is in the middle.
Yeah,
it's hard
I
to
mean,
push
that
Vita Vea out of anything. Tell me the Lions know that too, because they're, we have a pretty good offensive line, and he was wreaking havoc last year. So Vita Vea is just one of those guys. It's like, dude, just come out for a couple plays, because if they get in the short range, we're going to bring you back in here, and you can probably take about half the line space. Go ahead.
And that's what the key to being successful against that type of play would have a stacked forceful defensive line with key players like Vita Vea. I mean, you need a 3 technique, you need a nose guard, you need beef on the defensive line. Like my man Mike Tip would say, you need beefy men on the field.
Big beefy men.
Slapping meats with beefy men. Big beefy men.
you better hope they can push the pocket, that's for sure, because with all that force, you got to be able to push that pocket other way.
Well, I get, it's what it is. It's an individual thing too. I mean, Tampa Bay is successful against them, but doing it because they got Vita Vea. There's not a lot of teams that have a Vita Vea on their team. So it's just like Jalen Hurts can squat 600 and he can push in the middle. So you have those offsetting tendencies, and then when they come together, whoever's going to win that bout is probably going to be Vita Vea, because he's a big dude, and hard to move.
Yeah,
so
he is.
Even for any center in the NFL, a good center in it, Kelsey had problems moving him. If you ever looked at the playoff game the last playoff game he was in against him, man, Vita Vea was killing him.
But also too, I'll push back on that Tampa Bay stopping the tush push, because if both of those games, in the playoff game and in the regular season game, Tampa Bay was up big, so they weren't running the ball. They had to throw the ball in order to get back in the game. So I don't think that they were doing it as much as maybe we think they were. But, I mean, I'd like to see
what I'm saying, though, is that the number of amounts that they did is irregardless. When they did the tush push in certain situations in the beginning of the game or the mid-game, they stopped them because they had Vita Vea in the middle of that line. And like I say, it takes personnel to beat that, not team defense. You need a guy that's going to shut that down. And it forces what it does, it forces Philadelphia to rethink their whole game plan, because they said, look, we're not going to be able to do this, because that dude in the middle, he's blocking everything up. He's clogging the drain. We can't do it. So we have to go through something else. And then they're going off of something else they don't normally do, which most teams will squander a little bit, because they're not familiar with doing. We have to actually run to the outside or throw a pass over on 3rd and 1 just to get a first down. And to your behoovement, yes, Jalen Hurts is not that guy. He's a mid quarterback. I'm tired. I don't care how good he was in the dang Super Bowl. He wasn't good in the season. Saquon Barkley basically was the guy. He just fed off that. I think Jalen Hurts is not the greatest quarterback in the world. He's pretty mid. If he has to win a game by himself,
he's serviceable. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if he's a game manager. No, I wouldn't say he's a game manager, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to win you a game.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you,
I don't think he might lose you a game either, but
they're never behind in games, so you really don't know.
I mean, let's just take Jalen Hurts has worked very hard to get where he is. Mm-hmm. And I would say the year that they went up the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs in 22, 23, whatever year that was, he played well. Fumbled, he tore that game up.
He would have been the MVP. Like I said, he shows up in the Super Bowl.
But here's where I push.
During the season,
yeah, he had a really good season that year too.
But here's where I push back on that.
He got hurt.
He played well in that Super Bowl, which you thought would have catapulted him into the next year to be even better, and he regressed. And then this year, he only had 18 touchdowns. I'm sorry. If you're a good quarterback,
that whole offense regressed. I think it was a big. I mean, they weren't. Yeah. Something was wrong internally. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You take credit. You take the good with the good, take the bad with the bad. He didn't
But
do
even,
it.
but
Looked
even,
like
but
Dan
even
had broke the
last year,
record.
he only had 18 touchdowns. Like, dude, that's pedestrian. Like, come on. I mean, Goff had 37. Like, and he wasn't even the best quarterback. Like, I think Josh Allen had over 40.
Yeah.
So, that's why
Lamar.
I pumped the brake. Yeah, that's why I pumped the brakes with Jalen Hurts. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to be the guy that you're going to trust when the game's on the line, because that's not his game. His game is more of a manager type of situation and to make the short passes in order to get the completions. Like, is he really going to?
I got a question for you too. So, where would you rank Jalen Hurts? Would you rank him in the top 10? Would you rank him in the top 5, or even outside of that? What would you?
He's top 10.
J Train, top 10?
Definitely top 10. I wouldn't put him top
10.
5. Well, that's if we had to go according to career or just last season.
In general.
I mean, in general.
Yeah.
I would almost put him at 5. I mean, name the other 4 guys. I mean, name 5 guys better than him. I mean,
Allen,
and I know
Jackson,
the names.
Mahomes.
You're definitely gonna say Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Burrow.
Patrick Mahomes.
I put Burrow.
And Burrow.
Everybody keeps pushing this guy away, and I'm not trying to look from the Kool-Aid situation here, but Goff is up there too in the top 5, and I'm tired of people pushing him away. That dude's got the stats to back it up.
Right.
The dude's consistent. Since 2018, he is second in yards passing. He is also second in touchdowns.
Right. But the problem is that the AFC is so stacked with quarterbacks that are better than Goff, unfortunately. Like, you could even argue, I would even say Herbert's better than Hurts. Like, if Herbert's a dang good quarterback. Like, he's got a lot of talent. He just has not had the right situation. And now that he's got Harbaugh, I think you're going to see more of Herbert come out. Like, I would take
But
Herbert.
If you're a talented quarterback, you create your own situation.
Yes and no.
Yeah, so he had some regression too.
Yeah, he had regression too. My thumb's beginning to go down on Herbert because he started off great and he's kind of like done this.
But look at the coaches he's had. Brandon Staley was a horrible coach, and he literally wasted probably Herbert's last 4 or 5 years of Herbert. Like, and Harbaugh made Herbert look better his first year than what Staley did in 4 or 5 years. Like, wow. I don't like the defensive coordinator getting these good quarterbacks because they don't know what to do with them.
Well, I mean, he had a good his rookie season was one of the most fantastic seasons.
Oh, it was a rookie quarterback. Phenomenal.
And that was under Staley. Yeah. So I mean,
I forgot who their OC was good too. I forgot who their OC was.
I mean, everything makes a difference, but if you want to be a good quarterback in this and be revered as a good quarterback, you make stuff happen when you don't have stuff around you. Or, like for instance, I don't ever think Tom Brady is the best statistical quarterback. He's a GOAT. The only reason why I call him the GOAT is because he's a leader and he gets the job done. He wants to go win a Super Bowl. That's his focus every year he takes the field. A lot of these quarterbacks don't have that focus. They seem to have that focus, and they're leaders, but they're not leaders. It's the mentality. Like when he went to Tampa Bay, Brady went to Tampa Bay, he was like, hey, your offensive line sucks. We need to get some offensive line people here because I am not dying on this field.
No. He
took a pay cut.
He had the skins on the wall to be able to pull that off, though.
Yep.
And he told, look, I'm not about to risk it. I'm not about to no risk it, no biscuit either.
Yeah. That Tampa Bay team was pretty good. Like, they had a pretty good roster. Like,
well, their offensive line was lacking, but their defensive line and their skilled positions were good.
Oh, just ask Jameis Winston about that offensive line.
Yeah.
They got worse. Worse was the hit. I don't know about everybody else, but I mean, they had some decent players. I mean, KC couldn't touch that offensive line in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's because KC didn't have an offensive line at the time either. But that's
defensive line couldn't touch them in the Super Bowl. Sorry.
So just 59 minutes here.
Before, I'm getting ready to wrap it up right now. Thank you for that, J Train. At the end of the third, Pacers and the Knicks are all tied up at 81, just to let you know for that. And we shall see you next Friday. Me and Nate will be on the 4 o'clock show on Sunday. I believe James will be on the 8 o'clock show on Sunday as well, the 8 o'clock a.m. show. Yeah, 8 o'clock a.m. show. And with Bo and with Keith, maybe Bo. Depends. We'll see what's happening. But anyway, everybody have a good night. Peace out.